We have released version 3.4.1, and in this video I want to show you some of the highlights of the changes that we have in this new version, but also some bugs that are solved. Now, to start with, I go to my documents module and I prepared here a document, and you see I have here an image field and also a file field, and at the moment there is no image and no file. In the previous versions, it was possible to attach a file using the button and then search on your file system and then upload the file in that way. Now in the new version, it is possible to drag and drop the picture in this case, or the file. I can simply drag and drop it also there and then save and close it, and then the file is saved. As I'm here, I can also tell you here in the search field, if I type, for example, the word document, and I made a mistake here by adding also an E. Now I can simply use my arrow keys to go to the mistake and remove it there with my backspace. Sometimes, mainly on smaller screens, in the past it was not possible to use your arrow keys here in the text field, in the search field. So now it is possible to do that. If I go here to my assets module, there is also an option added here. We got a request to add more columns in the view, and I did it here also already in my system. You see here I have a date created. It was created by a person, last modified by someone, and also the last modified date. We added the last 3 columns. The date created was already there, but all the others are changed. So if I make a change in one of the tasks, you will see that it is changed also there. If you want to add those columns, you go to the administration module. Let me open that in a separate tab. Go to the views. In the views, go to the assets tasks. And there you see here I've selected the assets tasks. Select the default view, and then with manage columns, you can enable and disable all the columns that you want to have. And you see here the 4 columns: date created, created by, last modified, etc. So here you can enable and disable all the columns that you want to see in that view. There is another new feature there. For example, here this task, if I edit the task, you see that here with my parts, there is an oil filter linked to this task, which means that if I complete this task, I need 1 oil filter with type LF337. There was already an option here, right mouse click, to add the required parts to my basket, or directly create a requisition to order those parts, or do that's also possible on the category itself. Then I do it for all the tasks. But now there is also an option here, show related orders. If I click on that, you get all the open orders that are linked to that task. So here I see that I have 3 orders linked to that task, and also the status, wait for supplier prices, 2 of them, and 1 is already in the status invoice. You can do that on task level, but if you want, you can do that also here on the category level to show the linked orders. Now let's continue with this task as an example. I have here a change oil filter. Now what I can do if I edit my task, I can select several ranks. So in this case, a chief engineer or a second engineer can complete the task, and I can select any rank that I have in my system for this task. The same happens if I create, for example, a defect, like here I have a defect, a cooling water leakage. If I edit the task, I can also select any rank that I want. Now you see, for example, here on top, you have to master all ships. I can select the master all ships. Now, what we added in the system, if I go again to my administration part, and now I go to the ranks, I open the ranks and I open now the master all ships as an example. I can tell the system this rank may be used for the ranks, for the tasks, for the defect tasks or project tasks. Now, if I disable here the option for the defect tasks, save and close it, and I go back to my assets module, I edit again the same cooling water leakage task. And now you will see that I cannot select anymore the master all ships. So what you can do with this, you can restrict the ranks that can be chosen when a defect is created or when a normal task or a project task is created. Now, last item I want to show about this assets module. If I go to my work list, here it is possible that we have the column with rank names. And you see, if I scroll down here, for example, I have a task. That's the same task as I already opened earlier this video. And you see that the second engineer and the chief engineer are linked to this task. Now, if I use the filter option here on top, and if I filter only on the second engineer, previously I didn't get this task because it was only looking to task where only the second engineer was linked at that moment. So at the moment, if I select filter here on the second engineer or on the chief engineer, it will find also this task. Let's move over to projects and project tasks. I selected here a task, overhaul turbocharger 2. If I edit this task, you see there is an additional field, default estimated cost. So if I tell the system this will cost you 12,500 euros, then I can save this. This is the default estimated cost. And of course, you can also have the default contractor, but I save and close this. Now, if I move now to a project, I opened already here in this tab a project, and I add this task, overall turbocharger 2. Task is be linked. So I open the task. Now you see that already the estimated cost is copied from the template that I have in the assets module. And of course, if it is a different one here, you can change it just only for this project. But if it is changed here in the project, it will not be changed in the task itself that you have in the assets module. If you want to have it for the future always on a different amount, then you have to go to the assets module and change it there in the template. And of course, you can add the estimated cost also here in one of the columns, so you can modify the view and show it here as well. There was also an issue in a previous version. If I have more than one task selected and I want to create my service requisition here, then I had an issue that both lines were empty. So that problem is also solved here in this version at the moment. Now let's close this. This is, let's say, what we changed here in the projects module. If I go to the crewing module, here we got a really important question. And let me copy here the date of birth to make it easy for myself. If I create a new crew member and I call him Mr. John Johnson, and date of birth is the date I already used. Now it's a male, nationality is Dutch, and his rank is now, let's say, master of ships. Now when I save and close it, I get immediately the warning message. Please confirm that you do not add a duplicate employee, because Brian Anderson has the same date of birth. So it is checking on the date of birth if there is already someone with that date of birth. If it is correct, you simply confirm non-duplicate and save, and then the second person with the same birthday is created. And what you see also here with the ID number, this is the automatic generated ID number. It's the year, it's the month, it's the day, and then the sequential number 002. as an indicator. This is the second person that you have in the system with this date of birth. Let's move over to the purchase module. What we have here, if I open a random order, I have here now an option with this button. If I select that button, to enable and disable columns. So if I am totally not interested in who is the supplier and what is the delivery date, and I am not interested in what is the maximum and the minimum stock, I can simply apply that, and then here at the end it is not visible anymore. So if I enable now again the supplier, you see supplier is available again here in the system. Another option that is added here, you can configure that a label is printed as soon as you move to a next status in the purchase flow. So for example, if I move this order line to the next status, mark as delivered on board, the system will automatically print then also a label via the Dymo label printer. In my case, we will get an exception, error message, because I do not have the Dymo installed on my computer. So that's why I get this message. So the thing is, you can continue. So I can tell the system, okay, yes, it is received, etc., etc. The thing is, if I go here to the administration part in the purchase flow, here we have that button, mark as delivered on board. And if I want to print the label then at that moment, I should select here the option print labels. Now I deselect it. And here in the settings area, you can define also which labels should be printed at that moment. So for every order line, it is possible now to print the labels. There was also another problem with the purchase module, that if I have multiple suppliers linked to an order line, and I want to send emails to all my suppliers that the PDFs that were attached to the email were empty. That problem is solved now. So from now on, all the PDF contains data again. Now, last but not least, I quickly want to show you also that we added here a new module, Voyage. We had that already in version 2, but now here in version 3, we also have this module. And what I can do here, I can tell the system, okay, I generate a new voyage and enter a start date of this voyage. Now, let's say that I will start on the 9th till today with this voyage. And of course, here in my custom attributes area, I see the charterer, that value is required. So it's a chart comp, that's my charterer. And then here I can fill in all other details. You can modify that as you want. So you can create any field. Here in the ports tab, you can tell the system, okay, from where am I sailing? So my first port of call for this voyage, it's in Rotterdam. So I select Rotterdam. And then when is the arrival date? When is the departure date, etc. So I can select here, now let's say the 10th, and my departure there is on the 11th. And I can add an additional port, and let's say that I'm going to Antwerp. So I select Antwerp, and I will arrive there, now let's say on the 13th, and I leave there on the 15th. Now, in this way, you can create your entire voyage schedule and also attach documents related to this port or attach photos. And as soon as you save and close it, you see also here in the overview that this voyage number, its starts date, end date, and you have also the ports. It's from Rotterdam to Antwerp, so it's always the first and the last port that is mentioned over there. If I click here on the port names, you get the entire list with all the ports that you have linked here to this voyage. This is the end of this video. This is the highlight overview of the changes that we have in version 3.4.1. And as you know, the entire overview with all the changes can be found in the release notes.